What's going on, everyone? So with the upcoming Scream 7, I am genuinely excited to see kind of which direction do they go with just obviously the story, Sidney and her family, as well as Ghostface, but in particular Ghostface. Because I really do think you have a real opportunity here to really kind of do some new things, kind of change the landscape of Scream in a lot of ways, really kind of break the mold of like what Ghostface has been. Right? There's been already been talks that this is supposed to be the darker, more scarier. Like they want to get back to, they want to make Ghostface just horrifying, right? To where you are terrified. I'm all for that, right? I've been very critical of Scream 5 and 6. But one of the things that I think that they've gotten right in Scream 5 and 6 is Ghostface, right? Particularly, more so Scream 5. I liked the kind of tactical Ghostface that we saw in Scream 6. I'm all for that. But as far as like the type of kills and how Ghostface was, like in Scream 5, as soon as you saw Ghostface, you knew whoever it was going to die. Right? There was no nonsense. There was no BS. The only one that they like BS'd with was Tara, but that was because they purposely wanted to keep her alive. They wanted to kind of torture her more than like actually just take her out, right? Like, big difference. Everyone else were surprise sneak attacks. From Dewey to Wes to Judy to, even Liv, right? You just go down the list and it's just like every kill was a very strategic, like to the point, in and out type kill. Like they weren't playing with their food. There wasn't a lot of like, just games being played or no, it was just, hey, taking you out. And I like that. Right? It's more real. Like killers aren't usually, they usually like will stalk the prey. They kind of get a feel for like, okay, when's the best time? And then they're usually just in and out because they're not trying to risk somebody showing up or getting caught or, the person running away and escaping or, whatever. Like, all it takes is one time for you to just fumble and that's it. And so I do think with that and kind of them wanting to raise the bar with Ghostface. And then you add in kind of the whole family dynamic that we're about to get with Sidney and her family. We've never had that. Never had that dynamic. But one of my big concerns is this upcoming Scream film basically just kind of dropping the ball, particularly in who Ghostface is and the reveal. Right? Like, I want them to kind of set up and establish a Ghostface story or narrative that can continue going forward rather than just like an individual moment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see the same old Ghostface, the same old, like, oh, it's it's her daughter, or it's her cousin, or it's her brother's nephew's uncle, or it's, like, I don't want it to be the boyfriend again. I don't want it to be like how many people in her life want her dead, how many family members want her killed, right? Like I would rather there just be a motive of these people are just crazy rather than them trying to justify a redo again, right? Like keep it simple in my opinion, right? Keep it straightforward. You have Sidney Prescott. You have her family, her daughter, right? You have Mark Kincaid. You have, you have an element and dynamic that we've never had in Scream before. And I really want to see them capitalize on it. I really want to see them take advantage of that. I don't want it to be, Scream 3 again. But my concern is Scream 5 and 6, they just went the rehash route. Okay, so that mean what? Sydney's gonna have another brother, or maybe she had a kid she gave away. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of the nonsense, right? Like, I'd rather see them create this like narrative and story that intertwines Sidney and her family in it. Even if Sidney and her family are just targets because it's Sidney and her family, like Ghostface doesn't need a reason to go after Sidney Prescott. It's Sidney Prescott. Every Ghostface that ever wanted to be a Ghostface, when they all grow up, what does Ghostface want? Man, when I get older, I want to take out Sidney Prescott. You don't need some crazy jump through hoops. Like, just simplicity sells, right? Keep it simple. Keep it easy. Have Ghostface be menacing. Have Ghostface be dark. Have Ghostface be brutal. Right? Give us some. I've talked about it. I'd rather there be memorable kills than a large body count. Right? You look at Scream 6, and like one of the highest kill counts technically. Nobody died. Nobody died except for Annika or Anika. Like she's the only one that died. And we didn't even. And why would we care that she died? Literally the only thing that we knew about her was that she was Mindy's girlfriend. Outside of that, there was like, why did we care that she died? Right? It was like Kyle Gallner's character, right? Who again was another surprise attack. Right? It's like, why do we care that he died? He was some a-hole that we saw for 20 seconds. Like, again, like, build characters, have memorable kills, rather than like a bodega scene where a bunch of people died. Like, yeah, it was a cool scene, but like, you didn't kill anybody that mattered. Right? You can't have a menacing, terrifying Ghostface and he doesn't kill anybody. Right? It's like, okay, who cares? Right? Like, I'm not worried about that. Right? Like, but even the motive in the story, I want to, like, they have an opportunity here to do something different, to break some new ground. And I understand, there's only so many motives, there's only so many reasonings, but like, you don't necessarily, they've already established things. Right? Whether they go the cult route or they go, again, Ghostface doesn't need a reason to want to kill Sidney. Doesn't. It's Ghostface. That's their dream from a wee lad, right? They want to grow up and take out Sidney Prescott. Why are they going after her daughter? Because it's Sidney's daughter. It's Sidney's family, right? Like, again, you don't need some crazy high-end explanation. I know people like the motives and stuff like that. So sure, if you want to have like a specific motive or whatever, fine, do that. But I also want to see them just like, I prefer them to establish whether it's the cult route or it's another route, right? Like, I don't want the cult route in like the traditional sense of cults where like they're praying to like a Ghostface deity or whatever. I want it more kind of modern where it's like, like how Richie and then, you saw Greg and Jason and that, like, where it's kind of more of just like this movement, this following, and you had the dreaded thread and you had all these things that just set up, and it's just these people all over the world that are, willing to take on the Ghostface moniker. And they already even set that up with Kirby. Right, that Kirby, was following this Ghostface as it trekked through, and there's Ghostface all over the place that are, killing people. You already established in these last two films this kind of cult-like movement, this cult-like following. Keep it that, to where now you have this kind of evergreen, everlasting kind of Ghostface reasoning. Why are Ghostface doing it? They all have their own thing. You can't justify crazy. Right? Crazy is crazy. I mean, look at Mickey. Right? Mickey was arguably, or should have been, he really should have been the best Ghostface ever, hands down, far away. Right? The only reason he wasn't is because he wasn't in the film. Right? Like, we didn't even get to really see him in the film. Otherwise, he probably would unanimously be the best Ghostface in the franchise. Right? But unfortunately, he didn't see it. But even him, like, he didn't have a real motive. Like, his motive was irrelevant, right? Like, his motive was crazy. So much so, even Mrs. Loomis talked about crazy. Like, did you hear that nonsense? Like, it was ridiculous. It wasn't a real, like, it didn't make sense. It was just like, why? Because he was just crazy. One of my favorite lines ever in a horror movie is from The Strangers. When they're like, why are you doing this? Because you're home. That is terrifying. You don't need any real rhyme or reason for why people are crazy. They just are. Why are you killing people? Because you are. Like, because you're crazy enough to do that. Any sane person isn't going to think that, oh, hey, it's a good idea. Let me just start killing people, right? Like, it's ridiculous. Right? Like, keep it simple. Keep it orderly, right? Like, I think they have a real opportunity here, as I mentioned. And I want to see them really kind of continue that, kind of progress in the right direction. And I am. I'm excited to see how this progresses. I'm excited to see how they go about this and approach it. But just kind of wanted to have kind of an open discussion, open dialogue on just what we want to see from Ghostface. And those are my thoughts and opinions. And believe me, we'll have many more of these conversations. If you have any ideas or anything that you'd like to add or any thoughts that you want me to maybe expand on and explore on, please let me know down in the comments below. That's what it's all about, right? This is my opinion. These are my thoughts. And, as always, I pass a question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Do you agree with me on some points, maybe not others? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.